Hey guys, welcome back to another Let's Play, and today we're going to continue on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hopefully today is the day we're going to wrap up this trial. I didn't expect it to drag on this long. But I figured, we started someday, we should at least wrap up this case together. Let's see if it actually does wrap up this time. But we'll see. November, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court, Judicature, Courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! Judicial assistant and a woman, no less. Whoa, dude. Yeesh. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I'll not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. I mean, we don't really know if it's useful yet. Let's not get too excited yet. I mean, of course it's gonna be useful. The game's not gonna stop everything for this for nothing. We've had long enough, Counsel. Cannot detain our English guest any longer. I asked the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Maybe. I mean... a lot of options here. This really is our last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid... It's not so very long until tea time. Forgive me, Miss Britt. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however. You ain't got no choice. I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, lady. My apologies. My apologies. What the hell's wrong with me? So, Council. What is this new evidence? A research report. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Affects instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Road of entry: the above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its inability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have an application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocations. Alright, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yes.
We understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University doing research. Research by sheer coincidence perhaps into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Council? A toxin known as Courier. Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete utter nonsense. Courier, you said? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Korea before one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for the toxins, they'll never identify Korea. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the process of this highly deadly poison. They're getting wild up now. Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authorized by the visiting research student from England, Korea has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it is reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace the arrows. The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Korea suffer instant death. Does that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery. These aspirations are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean the other way around? is evidence the courier was used. Explain yourself, counsel. Yeah, don't push the judge, guys. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be there'll be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. I don't follow, because that's just paralysis. I thought the poison causes to death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration. In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation, and all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly courier parasite. Silence. And you're suggesting that this bottle, counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hit here to unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught something. Oh boy. He snapped. It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? Oh boy. What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Ha ha ha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Britt? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? It did say it has to go through like a wound, so it's not in the bottle. It's gonna be in the bird. This guy just casually pours her a glass. Don't get too big for your boots, you significant little island boys. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and those foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Oh boy. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shameful affair. I miss this prosecutor. It's funny. I mean, except for the how he treated that woman when she walked in. That was pretty messed up. Goodness, whatever's the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no career. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Ha ha ha. You look quite incredulous little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue, most kind. Thank you, Ada. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherness of friendship between our countries. Yes, dearly. We are most grateful for all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to be poison in that bottle, so how did she... Guys, it's pretty obvious, come on. How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose nothing else. This little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Isn't there? There can't have been. Because otherwise she would have kneeled over dead. Come on, Yusuke. We have the clues now. The bottle of water. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why are you so good? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it is in need of a good strain. Until as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Where the hell is he coming from? What is that color is supposed to represent? That was a clueless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Counsel. Which oh boy, Sultra was poisoned. Oh, I guess there was in the bottle. I thought I got it right. Damn. The culprit did put courier poison into Dr. Rose's carbonated water. Right? The defense refused to change its position. Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way the water could contain poison. I mean, we just saw. Spring drink the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your agreement, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. Ah, yeah, maybe she put it in that glass, that's why she hit it. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here one by one. I'm sure the answers and the evidence we have in the report record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposed liquid? I noticed. Yeah, this is the one.
Yes!
See the defense, or should I say? Damn it. I thought it was being clear. I thought I got it, guys. Oh boy, we're dropping down here. Alright. Okay, there needs to be. Okay. The Richard accused truly does assert this claim. Alright. Here.
Yes!
Obvious one. The answer to this riddle.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, you don't speak English. The report is utter gibberish. It's impudent young scoundrels trying to ridicule your court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone honest. I'm just reading Toussaint's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the British Section Council. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Synopsis, special characteristics, I guess, yeah. We've been hearing a lot about this career person. And it's left me curious about something. Counsel? Well, It sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows, but they shot whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characters it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When courier enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects, however. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You know courier special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Whoa! Rapscallion. That freaking bird is alive on our head. Very realistic it turns out. You're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Nice. Really? Lawyer?
Objection! Shut up!
But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. Jeesh. What are you trying to say? You schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce couriers is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric success. Oh yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers. What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Order. Order in the court. Order. The logic holds if the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this courier poison is completely irrelevant to the case on the trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Yeesh. What is this welling up inside me? It's called, maybe dread. Never felt like this before. A sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Whoa. Whoa. He did the finger pointing. I don't think so, Miss Jezreel Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that the poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the courier? Where's that? Where's the burn mark? Dental treatment? Nah. Eh.
Take that!
And that worked. After avoiding her, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of courier. Ah, there's a wound in his mouth. An open wound, yes. So for the person with no injuries, drinking is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist. If you had just been to the dentist, you had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah. Ms. Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. Puerile? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. What the? You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. I mean, it could just slip. What? Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. Kind of admitting it? I'm so confused. Who cares? Smash the ball in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water for that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. She's kind of admitting it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. Let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day using courier. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. See? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say, and I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly, and as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remain unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How could this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke, yes, we've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What do you do? Oh, hold on, guys. Someone's at the door. Sorry about that, guys. Wrong address. Happens. We've lost a vital piece of evidence, true, so if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, it's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Right? Somewhere in that vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. I mean, it's right there.
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime, like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Wait a minute, where are you going with it? Where are you going with this little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that the wooden base of the plate that steak was served on was spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson's chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Jezeline Britt. I beg your pardon? This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. And does this court seriously expect it to release something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took that plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there is a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. That was fast. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly inspect it. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossibly. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Maybe he thought it was from his coughing, the blood, and he wiped it. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. That's wrong. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Tisk, I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire, I believe we may have finally reached our conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This little pretend attempt courtroom proceeding is painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! The sorry-looking stick reveals the fact all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine again, be my guest. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryusuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself, really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? The bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate stick reveal any other clues at all? Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that revealed a shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Britt, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I am completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, is still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court of what you are. Is this new clue found? Should have been blood around here. So it was a tricky one. Thinking it's this thing. I don't know. Oh. What the? Huh? That's what I say. What in the world is this? I think it's a coupon coin. The hallmark is from a holy era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoi coupon? Yes, apart from the meat juices. It looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This is the first time today there's been talk of Hoi coupon. I've heard the pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion. Bullion? What? I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... I guess this is it.
Got it.
Good gracious, that's... Coupon? What on earth? I era wanted that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak you ordered at the restaurant the day in question, isn't it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is. I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. It could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in the moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare hook one that just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency? Yes, Counsel? If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. Point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the coupon that was found underneath the beefsteak is... this guy. Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Raisote Kuyuru Kotosuga-san. Curie, as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, those ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Yes, the old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his coupon coin when it happened. And exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoich era Kuban, my prized coin. Then this hypocrite, do you mean to tell me? No, please, why would Kurikuta-san's coupon be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? It makes no sense. Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurikuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Oh, not another recess? Strange. Can't believe we've come around to that pair again, but I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this coupon, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for our little baby Aido? When my son's belly's empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I become a ruined man in a trace, a worthless withered antique. Nothing more I have to say. The sun has set on this rice tea shop's owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korotako-san, something has come to light that requires a clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever... What? That's... Oh, he's knife at that guy's foot. That's it, the very exact one that it is. The splendid, splentuous, holy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace the fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this gripped old fool put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaked in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly can't have been fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it in there on purpose. Somebody concealed my hoy treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing, such an uncomfortable thing? Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hasanaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. A secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including married foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this coupon incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at the work at the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about what the master thief's part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid is all too clear. What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on the matter. Tell us who's this despicable scoundrel that stole. I think it's this guy.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Ha! Sergeant Isanosa. What? How dare you? Monster. Monster? I stole that coupon, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all this. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. You... Oh boy. What the... What the hell's going on? What the hell? This trial is plot after plot and twists after twists, like it's not even trying to hide it anymore. For your Army Sergeant Easton, I'm preparing to stand down to the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages the Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place, and I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chopping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man in his kuban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot, I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. so I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it under the stake, hoping I'll be able to rendezvous with it again on a later date. Okay. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd paddling on your own time. Almost, Brett? Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The theft of the Kubo is clearly perpetrated by this baby saddler sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well... Oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification to detaining her. Miss Britt, you're free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And a good day. What's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about Miss Britt's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. Feel like there was a contradiction there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Sprint. What is it now? I'm afraid just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about? Wait a second. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. Sheer nonsense, such an idea astounds me. And as far as picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. Said that exposes an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. Truly are contradictory. Where is the evidence to prove it? Is it the steak? Oh. Oh, it's just a coin.
Take that!
Yeah, it worked. Steak that Miss Britt had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. Steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could have contemplated picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman. And take a good look at the steak in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, couldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, There shouldn't be teeth marks in the steaks at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Bright was ravishingly hungry. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will be over in a blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Oh boy, of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly the witness knows what this means. She has realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with poultry. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. What exactly are you suggesting it tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been what? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it'll solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Reveal the truth about it. Is it that? Is it the swan? I think it's the swan. Oh no. You. The blood thing. Haha. What? I have it? Honestly, that was a case. Yes. You think I'm withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. There it is. The cough. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chopping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting stealing Kurzu's, he told us he slipped it under the steak. Yes, you watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Tenshun, affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I am not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of the steak, nor does she have an opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I can steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly, surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. You did switch the plates. Well, after it happened, they, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. And as I immediately lifted my stake and hit the coin underneath it, but then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'll be it. I'll be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet warrior was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one before on Lady's table. What? You can't have... I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not prosecution, son. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. Oh, you did? That's plenty, Sergeant. So, if Sergeant knows switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate was on it, back onto his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Sonaga? Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of this one at this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense seized the plate was to confirm something I remember seeing. Things he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Britt. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now, we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further, Inspector. You will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. And this trial is never going to end. At this point, just find the guy guilty. Come on. Sorry for keeping you. Aha! Here's the other steak in its plate. Please feel free to examine it. It's like right there, guys. Come on, it's clear as day. The bloodstain is clearly visible. Look. Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Narendra to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Jesely Britt. It's you! Outdone by a Japanese, me, by a Japanese schoolboy. No, no, no. Oh boy. This is insanity. Whoa. Whoa. What the hell? Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman, forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. Okay, don't tell me she ain't gonna give up yet. It was I who took the professor's life using courier. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison will be found in his water. Because courier is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one sip of his water and it would be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him. Make it appear as though it had been dining alone. And leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of courier in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right, there were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor, place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went accordingly to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang. That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed the son was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn Professor in his chair around. Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency? Yes. I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. What? She just walked away. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be. Tadafushi O'Shea does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. yes? This insult to the Uchi family name will never be forgotten. You become conceited with age. Conceited with age. Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh, okay. Whoa. Whoa! That's assault. Like with a deadly weapon. In the courtroom, 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Shi clan will never measure up to Naruto clan. What the hell's happening? This trial of the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Rino Sukino, has presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern mythology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you... Oh, yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. What the? It's raining. Sure, like blossoms. This court is now adjourned. Oh my god, guys, we did it. Supreme Court. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha ha ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large Tsukiyuki from the place at Newmy University Street, don't forget. Good afternoon, all your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruto-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do it. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father, oh yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding in the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Step to the defense. Speaking of Mikotoba, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. You did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed a true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yuma University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Rikutoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Sogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me. What's happened to the woman? To Jesse Brett, I mean, after all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's a true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Jezebel will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? Why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Osaka. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate. But what's this all about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away, where our voices can be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Britt can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of compensation for her. Competence? I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Britt. They're obviously taking this case as of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era, heralded by the start of the 12th century, or 20th century. Wait, did I read 20th or 12th? I misread it. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor, you're right. There's no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating. Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, Master just like Carnival. Oh my god. As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Saga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. Guys, his friend got murdered there. Like, we almost went to prison there. La Carnival's food is second to none. I guess it's that good. I should go and attend to the paperwork for Naruto-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. Guess she's not invited. These guys are cruel. So Gisele Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Yeah, I was wondering about the motive. Kazuma. Yes. I just want to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? The defense was all your work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. But come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all, because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry, what do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Ryunosuke, do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No, the ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? The defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice in what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. Being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in even then. Well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and time again. But you never stop looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it. Through your own efforts. And because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually. Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is? Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain. Don't forget. Ah, yes. That too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Sasato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through the trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. The end. There you have it, guys. We wrapped up the trial. It was a bit of a long one there. Sorry for it went on and on. But I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a crazy case. A lot of twists. But let me know if you all enjoyed that and you enjoy these Ace Attorney games. Have you played the old ones? Are you picking up these ones and whatnot? And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye.